Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Adventure Built. My name is Kelly.
I'm Trevor.
And today I am putting my very first light upgrade into my 2020 Tacoma Rock Lights from Lux Lighting Systems. And there's something super special about these. You'll see in 1 minute. Stay tuned. Like I said, this is my very first light upgrade on my Tacoma. I just recently installed the VO switch, which has a 8 accessory switch management system, and this will be the very first one I plug into it.
Numero uno.
What I have here is 8 lights. There's the Max lights and the Max XLs, and the difference is the amount of cable in the run.
Yeah, no difference between the actual light itself, just the cable.
Yeah, and these are pretty cool. They're actually basically a bunch of LEDs encased completely in silicone. It is weatherproof, dustproof, pretty much everything proof.
Yeah, and the other great thing about them is that they're super easy to mount. Unlike everything where you have to have some kind of mounting hardware, no mounting hardware required except for metal. Anything metal, they'll stick to. Yep. You can stick to the frame, you can stick to the body, you can stick to your sliders, anywhere under the hood. If it's metal, it'll stick to it.
Went really long-winded on that one, but we get it. It's magnetized. There are magnets in here.
But not aluminum. Aluminum is a metal.
No, but not aluminium.
Aluminium, yeah. No aluminium.
You can see here on the back of the light, there are 4 magnets that are built into the encasement of the light itself.
And the cool thing, not only are these part of the mounting portion of it, but what they do is they actually transfer the heat from the LEDs through the magnets into the metal that it's stuck to. So you're getting rid of heat sinks and everything else that are needed.
They're super bright. They've gotten really great reviews and I can't wait to try them out.
Let's do it.
I'm starting off with the Max XLs because I'm starting from the back, going on the driver's side all the way to the front. And all I'm really gonna do is take the light end, and I'm just gonna find a spot and I'm just going to attach it and then start running the line back towards the engine compartment. So I'm placing the first one here, and it's basically under the mud guard all the way back behind under the the back end of the fender. And this is basically going to illuminate everything under my back bumper and behind the rear tire. I don't know if I got it or not. The second light, I'm actually going to index into the sheet metal right in front of the rock slider in front of the back tire. I'm gonna zip tie these 2 wires to the frame up here right above the gas tank. That way nothing comes loose and interferes with the drive shaft right here.
There's a lot of things underneath the vehicle that should be avoided when running wires. Anything that moves is number 1. So that includes your drive lines, suspension components, and even brake lines. The other thing you want to avoid is the exhaust. You want to try to keep it away from the exhaust so you don't melt the wires or anything like that, because exhausts get super hot. One of the really cool things about this is not having mounting hardware. So we can have it placed right here and then decide, hey, we don't really like that position. Let's go ahead and say move it here. And all it takes is just moving it and slapping it in another location. And if you leave just a little bit of slack in the line before you zip tie it, you can do all of those adjustments in the dark on the fly. Another consideration when you're placing rock lights is where everything else is around it. In this location, this light will shine directly down. However, it has the rear leaf spring in the way, so it'll cast a big shadow. So make sure it's in a place that is going to give you maximum light down, and you want to place it high enough because it'll give you more spread, but at the same time you don't want it tucked up too much to give shadows. Another pro tip is to run the back half of the vehicle first, because those lines are eventually going to meet about halfway around the gas tank and then start running together, and it's a lot easier to feed all the lines together than each one individually.
I'm still working my way through the monotonous running wire. I am 4 lights in, 4 lights to go, so I'm about halfway. As I'm going through, I'm making sure that I zip tie everything as I go progressively and not wait till the end. That way I know the slack I have is all the slack I have. I don't want to have to kind of cut corners, not zip tying things because they don't fit or just there's not enough slack. I can always extend the wire. I can't create rooms for things to clear. The kit includes a couple bundles of zip ties that I've just been using quite a bit. However, there are certain cases where going around larger brackets where I've had to tap into my own larger, thicker zip ties. So don't be afraid to use something that's not in the kit to make it work right.
So what you doing?
Routing wires still, believe it or not. It's quite the tedious process. But it is best to go slow and make sure you get it right the first time. It'd be way worse having to take all of this out because something was not put in correctly.
I agree.
Right now I'm doing some wiring, which is definitely not my strong suit. I have 8 lights and they're going into one switch on my VO switch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually up-stepping the gauge but down-stepping the number of wires. So I'm taking 2 wires, routing them together, and these are like a 24 gauge wire. They're super, super thin, and I'm going to route it into like an 18 gauge wire. And then I'm going to step up that up to a 14 gauge in one more step. So we'll end up plugging a 14 gauge wire into the VO switch with all 8 wires on it. I know it is probably not the best way to do it. I'm not a dude that does this all the time. However, it is the way I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't work, we'll figure it out. But they're LEDs, they have a very small draw, and not overly concerned about it. Trying to stay calm. It's really the first thing that I'm doing. So right now I am still wiring, running in wires. It's just running 8 wires into one to run it through the switch isn't the most, the easiest thing we've done today. So we're still working through the process of this, and you know, working under a vehicle, it's just kind of tight and dirty.
Part of the adventure.
It is. What we have going on here is almost a rat's nest of wires. These are the 2 front rock lights on the passenger side that I've already routed through and put a 2 to a 1. This clump of wires here is the entire driver's side and the 2 back wires that I routed up over the exhaust and the drivetrain to come out on this side. I don't quite know how I'm going to get this down to 1 wire, but it's going to involve a lot of splicing 2 and 3 wires into 1 and then 2 into 1 that way. I'm in the process of stepping down these wires, and all I'm doing is taking 3 wires, put into a butt connector, and these are probably, I don't know, 16, 18 gauge wires, and I'm bringing them out to a 14 gauge wire, which then going to step down to a 10 gauge wire. So like I said before, probably a better way to do it, but this is what we're going with. I can always fix it later if someone else has a much better idea. Maybe.
Post your comments below. Before we get into Kelly's wiring, the setup of the rock lights is pretty much exactly the same. However, my rock lights are slightly different. The ones that I have are the RGB rock lights. That means they can change different colors. Kelly's lights are pure white. Mine do white okay. They're probably the best RGB that do a white light out there that I've seen, but the wiring's a little different. So for mine, there is a single controller, and all the wires are run to this spot on the engine bay. They're all connected into here, and then the power for this is run to my S-Pod. The S-Pod, I can control from in the cab, turn the rock lights on and off. However, this right here, this little wireless key fob, actually controls what my rock lights are doing. So if I leave it on white, when I turn them on, they'll stay white. But if I change it to red, green, orange, yellow, blue, whatever, when I turn the car on again, that's the color that it will stay. So using these buttons, I can actually change the color. I can also make them flash, do different things. Haven't really messed with that at all. But I have changed the color and stuff like that, depending on, like for camp, having a yellow light for bugs just lights up the area nicely, and I don't have to use any other lights. So then later we will go out to the desert and check them out.
All right, so what we ended up doing was, like I said before, we took the 3 20 gauge wires into 3 14 gauge wires into 2 10 gauge wires, or technically one positive, one negative. And we just did butt connectors, heat shrinked them, and we duct taped them, tying everything up nice and tight. Like I said, I don't know if this is the best way, but this is the way we're doing it. Obviously, if something else better pops up, we'll use that. But right now we're doing this, and we're almost done. And it's been a long day, so we're doing this. The very first thing I'm gonna do now that we have our wiring harness created is I'm going to connect the ground, just to kind of get that wire set and out of the way. And the ground goes right here into the body. Now, because all of the grounds in the VO switch end up going not in the switch itself, I'm actually going to do a bus bar of negatives right here, but for now this is just going to live here. And now to connect the VO switch, I've dedicated the rock lights to switch number 5, which is going to be this pin right here. Therefore, I have to pull off this plug here. And to do that, you loosen up this side here, pull that off. You pull out this entire assembly, and these are just rubber plugs. Pull the plug out, put the cap over the wire, and then you feed the wire through the hole. So we're going to put on our little U connector here, and then I'm going to crimp it, and then heat shrink it. And now that it's nice and heat shrank, let that cool down for a second. All right. Great sound effects. And now I'm gonna feed it through. You motherfucker. It's not gonna fit. What? It's too big to fit in here. I was finally able to get it in. I had to do a little bit of modifying of the pin itself. It was a little bit wide to fit into this terminal, so I had to narrow it out just a bit with the sander. However, it is in, and now I'm about to close it all up. I'll be honest, the way this all goes in here, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but being that it's very weather resistant, I like the idea of how it works. It's all hooked up. Only thing left to do is give it a shot. We have lights. Yay. By far the most satisfying process of this whole thing is going to be adding my Rock Light sticker to this switch right here on my VoSwitch panel. Well, I'm just gonna peel this off nice and slow to really enjoy it. All right, let's make sure that it's the right switch. It is. All right, here it is. I don't know how far over this has to go. There it is. All right, guys, that is the install of the Lux Rock Lights in pure white and RGB on Trev's 4Runner. And they actually came out really, really good.
Yeah, I am super happy with these rock lights. I think the white is probably a little brighter if you're looking for just pure brightness. But I think the RGBs are great for the versatility, and they still have plenty of light.
Yeah, 100%. And also, just the versatility of the head, being able to move it, we saw just now. On this side, I noticed when we pulled up that the light was really facing straight down, like on this side. It's definitely a lot more cut off. It doesn't spread really far out. And we ended up playing with the lights a little bit, and I was able to get the spread to all the way out here by placing it on the frame. And let me show you what I did. So this is the real beauty of these lights. I wanted it to be different, so I basically ended up taking it off of the body, and I just moved it right over to the frame like this, and I put it kind of as low as I could get it while it's still protected, and it just changed the entire way these illuminate. I'm gonna do the same thing on the back one. And it just completely changes how these look.
Yeah, it's got so much more throw.
Yeah. Just being able to kind of, you know, fine tune that light source exactly where you want it to make your, you know, usability that much better. It's perfect.
Yeah, the magnet mounting system is worth the price of admission, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's the way of the future. I think if ever the light really needs to have that.
Yeah, I hope they have that patented, because that is brilliant.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And also wiring into the UV100 from VoSwitch, that was pretty sweet. Like I like the S-Pod, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there definitely is a place for the VoSwitch, and it's gonna happen to be in my truck.
For the budget conscious.
Very much so,
yeah,
very much so.
Budget conscious.
The S-Pod, very, very great quality, but it comes at a price.
Very big price.
Yeah, and they're only getting more expensive because they are so sought after.
Yep.
So the UV100 is definitely a budget-friendly option that we will be exploring thoroughly. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to follow us on IG. It's adventurebuilt_. Also, if you like the video, hit that thumbs up. It does support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yep, and if you have any comments about wiring or anything else, we would love to hear them in the comments section.
Yeah, don't ask questions.
Yep.
Only advice. Oh. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.
Peace.
Everything was going so well until right there.
Lux.
Take two.
Effing professionals.
I'm pretty sure you didn't say anything, so.
I don't know. I don't even remember. I was too busy laughing at you.
You know, back up a little bit there?
Yeah.
You can be a camera hog.
So.
Umo. That's not right. Uno, not
Dang
umo.
it.
My Spanish is no bueno. I lost it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
So you need a step to get in your engine compartment, huh?
35s.
Yeah, 35s.
Super worth it. I feel like this is all on purpose, just to put that dead cat right in my face.
I didn't. But that's a good idea.
I can see that. This is so soft. I get it now. Fully get it.
I'm starting out with ums now. I know you're tired, bro, but we're still professionals.
Let me disassemble this so I can show the actual...
I just started this. This guy. This guy. Hey, start rolling. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, man.
What do you mean right now? That was really crooked.